2 at once? Wow.
Were you expecting this?
Shut up. You're having twins?
Twins? Well, I guess that means double trouble.
So you're going to need 2 of everything?
Hi friends, welcome back to Expecting Times 2. It's your host Abigail here. I am so excited about this episode. Sorry it took me a little bit of time to get it out. I have done some serious deep diving to figure out what actually needs to be on all of our registries for these sweet little babies that, gosh, could be coming any day now. I am 32 weeks pregnant right now. It's so funny. There are moments lately where I feel like this pregnancy has just gone so fast. I'm like, oh my gosh, yesterday we were sitting in the doctor's office and they said, you're having 2. And then there's other moments, for example, in the middle of the night while I'm peeing surely 15 times a night, that I'm like, okay, I've been pregnant for a year. Like, that's a wrap. I'm done. I'm over it. But regardless, I'm just so grateful to have made it to trimester 3, to have made it to 32 weeks. And I'm so excited to share some tips and tricks with everyone who is in the process of building their registry or trying to figure out what the heck they need for these sweet little Twinkies that are coming oh so soon. So this is actually my second time recording this episode. The first time I recorded it, I went over every item on my registry line by line by line. The episode ended up being like over an hour, and even I was bored. I was super bored hearing myself talk about each item, explaining each item, going over the importance of clothes, of diapers. And I was like, you know what? Okay, my audience is way too intelligent. They do not need every single item described. So what I've done is I've broken this down into a couple different categories. I'm going to go over a couple key items that I just want to discuss and elaborate on today. And then I will post a link to my entire registry with everything I've registered for, the items I got, the items I'm planning on buying, even if someone does not buy them for me, because I know they're my must-have items. So I promise I'll give you the full lowdown. So if you're listening to this and you're like, okay, hang on, she's only mentioning, 15 to 20 items. Yes, we're going to need more, mamas. Just know that I will link my full registry. I do want to apologize in advance for how out of breath I sound. I have truthfully, in the past few days, I feel like I popped even further, which I didn't think was possible, but these babies are growing quick. They are going quick. They are going rapidly, and mama is feeling it. So I don't think I have lungs anymore. If I do, they're about the size of Skipper the Barbies. They're so little. I get so out of breath these days just talking on the phone, much less going for a walk or really doing anything that requires physical exertion. So I apologize in advance if I kind of sound out of breath on this. Yeah, I mean, this trimester 3, it's such a blessing, and we have to remember that. I'm really trying to wrap my head around that every day that we're further into this trimester, our babies are developing more and they're getting even healthier. But I would be full of shit if I didn't say to you that this is a lot. I have gone from walking to just a full-on waddle. The back pain is constant, and I truthfully was like, okay, should I register for a forklift? Because rolling over in the middle of the night, it takes all my energy. Sometimes my hand ends up on my husband and I'm pushing against him just to try to roll over a little bit. Yes, I've got it all. I got the pregnancy pillow. I mean, I've got it all, but it's still very challenging right now. So I just want to say, if you're also in that position where you're feeling gratitude that you've made it to trimester 3 and that your babies are still baking, but you're also kind of bitchy because it's quite uncomfortable, I am right there with you. All right, let's dive into it. First of all, one of the questions I have gotten from people is, where do I build my registry? There's so many websites. What do you recommend? What has been your favorite? I think that I get the most questions about Babylist versus Amazon. I honestly think it's a personal preference. I decided to build my registry on Babylist. I did so because there's quite a few items that I wanted to register for that have no affiliation whatsoever with Amazon, no affiliation with Target, Walmart. For example, there's a really cute rug I want from Etsy for our nursery. So I couldn't link that on an Amazon baby registry. So I went with Babylist. Again, personal preference. If you are like a Target girl to the core, you love everything Target, maybe you register at Target. Little tip and trick though, friends, you can register on a few different sites, and then most of them all have some form of like a registry welcome box or a thank you box for using their platform. I'm not going to lie, the gift box that they send you, whether it's Target, Amazon, Babylist, it's nothing revolutionary. There's a couple nice coupons on there. You get some different bottles to try, but I would not recommend picking where you want to register based on the welcome box because none of them are that amazing. I broke my registry down into different categories. I got feedback from friends that they loved that I did this because there are some people that know they really want to buy you something within a specific category. My little sister, for example, she really wanted to buy me something that would be good for me, like a postpartum item or something that was a treat for mama, so she could just scroll right to that area, look at the items I've registered under postpartum just for mama. Totally up to you. It's optional. When you add things in your registry, they're automatically going to categorize them under different categories for you. Make sure you take a look at what they're putting your items under which category. Some of them I was like, no, that does not fit under that category at all. So you can always go in and change that. The first category I want to talk about today might seem silly for some mamas out there, but it is the category of diapering. I did a little research and we are going to change anywhere from 7,000 to 8,000 diapers the first year that our babies are born. 7,000 to 8,000, friends. That's a lot of diapers. So for me, one of the most important items on my registry was the diaper pail. What are we doing with all these little stink bombs that our cute little babies are blowing out every day? I cannot recommend the UB diaper pail enough, friends. I got mine from Stork Exchange, which if you're not familiar with Stork Exchange, whatever platform, whatever device you're using to listen to this podcast right now, hit pause, go to your browser and look at Stork Exchange. They are absolutely wonderful. I have registered for so many items through Stork Exchange. It has become my go-to website for curated baby gear. The brands that they have partnered with are really unbelievable. They have so many great stroller options on there. They have brands like UPPAbaby, Zoe, Bugaboo. But then they also have simpler items from Frida, for example. Please go look at Stork Exchange, see what they're offering and what you can link on your registry. So like I said, friends, I got my Ubi diaper pail from Stork Exchange. They've got some great bundles going on right now. I know it's only for a limited time, so I highly encourage you run over there, register for one, maybe even just buy it for yourself now while you know they still have them available. But a couple things I love about the Ubi diaper pail is it's made of steel, which really helps keep those blowout smells at bay, which was important to me since it's going in the nursery, since we also have another one that's going upstairs in our room. I don't want to smell those 7,000 to 9,000 dirty diapers. There's also a rubber seal, which helps lock in those odors. I will say, though, one of my most favorite things about this diaper pail is that you don't need a specific special bag to go inside of the diaper pail. Those same bags that you were buying for your trash can at Costco, Sam's Club, Target, wherever, can also go inside of this diaper pail, which automatically helps bring costs down. I don't know if you've done research yet on specialty diaper pails and the bags you need to go in those, but those costs can add up quickly. So for us, that was a win-win situation. We could just use a normal trash bag. It was funny, when we first got it, I was like, well, let me test this out in my son's room first, because obviously the babies are not here yet. And there's this little kind of like child-proof lock that I noticed is on top of the Ubi diaper pail. And I was like, we're not going to need that. That's like a cute function, but we're not going to need it. No, I was very wrong. My son thinks it's quite funny to open and close the lid and open and close the lid and open and close the lid. Put his hand in the lid. So we just turned that little lock and then he's like, oh, perfect. I guess my little magic door doesn't work anymore. So friends, again, go check it out. The Ubi diaper pail. One of the top things in my diapering category. One other item I want to mention in this category is butt paste. We have played around with tons of different creams to help with diaper rash, and I will say my go-to is alternating between butt paste and Aquaphor. Another funny little tip and trick for you is if you get a postpartum breakout, this butt paste, dab a little on your zit, boom, it just takes it away. One of the models that I work with at my job actually gave me that tip and trick. And I was like, okay, whatever, I'll try this. I've never been one to like put toothpaste on a breakout or anything like this, but it does work. So hey, think of it as a treat for baby's bum and a treat for a future breakout that you might have. The next category I want to talk about is feeding. Feeding could mean breastfeeding, friends, or feeding could mean bottle feeding, formula feeding. My suggestion to you would be don't register for a ton of stuff to breastfeed if you're not sure that's going to work for you. Also, don't register for a ton of stuff for formula feeding if you think you really would like to breastfeed. I made that mistake in my first pregnancy. I registered for a ton of items for both, and a lot of stuff went unused. So my first suggestion is definitely to get a pump. With Babylist, you can actually go to their website, you can put in your insurance, and they can actually let you know what pumps are free through your insurance. I think it's a total personal preference on breast pumps. I would give anything if they had like an IKEA for breast pumps where you could go, you could try them on, you could see them in person, because I think it's really hard to shop for breast pumps online. I have tried several. I'm not even going to recommend exact brands to everybody because, again, it's really personal preference. What worked so well for my sister did not work for me. What I absolutely loved, my neighbor said failed for her. But you're definitely going to want to make sure you have at least one pump at home to get started with. Hands-free pump, a manual pump that plugs in. Some carriers might cover both, but just make sure, friends, that you have some form of a pump at home. You don't need to bring this to the hospital. They will have a hospital grade pump there for you. But the reason I say add a pump to your registry is in case insurance only covers one. For example, if they only cover your manual pump that you plug into the wall, you might want to register for a hand-free pump. That way you can be doing the dishes while also pumping. Another go-to item for me in this category, silver nursing cups. These little silver nursing cups are basically little shields made out of silver. They go inside of your bra and they really, really help with sore, cracked nipples, especially in the early stages of breastfeeding or pumping. I think I bought 2 or 3 pairs with my first son. I have registered for 2 with these babies because they are sometimes easy to misplace if you're pumping out in public or you're breastfeeding in various places. But they are a godsend. Make sure you register for them. I never really had excruciating pain with sore nipples, and I swear it's because of my nipple cream and these little tiny nursing cups. The next item on the registry, some people swear by, other people say, you don't need it. Breastfeeding pillow. I have registered for the Twinsy breastfeeding pillow. That comes highly recommended by some of my twin mamas. Others say, you know what, I just used a pillow. I really didn't need it. Again, I think it's personal preference. My suggestion would be register for one, get one. If you find that you don't need it and pillows work fine, you can return it and you can get something else that you really do need. But I just know I wanted something that was going to make this process of what feels a little bit impossible right now, breastfeeding 2 babies, a little bit easier. So we went with the Twinsy. The last big item on the feeding list I want to just mention is make sure you treat yourself to a good glider rocking chair. So many options out there. Some of them are quite expensive, and I know people are like, oh my gosh, do I really need to spend, $800 to $1,300 on this glider? In my personal opinion, the answer is yes. You're going to be in that chair a lot. And I hear that from many of my mamas. In fact, some of my twin mamas said the final weeks of their pregnancy, they actually slept in their glider because it was just so uncomfortable to sleep in their bed. I will say, if you're open to secondhand, definitely take a look at Facebook Marketplace wherever you live. I know in our neighborhood, there are tons of glider rocker options that are 70% off of the original price. Maybe they have a couple stains here and there. Some of them don't. Some of them are just like, hey, we bought this glider. It just didn't work for us. We just need to get rid of it today. So definitely take a look. If you're open to secondhand, that may be a great option. For us, we actually went to Pottery Barn. We sat in a few rockers and gliders. We went to Living Spaces, American Furniture Warehouse. I really wanted to test them out. It was kind of funny though, because we did that last week, and honestly, nothing was comfortable. My mom kept being like, this is so comfortable. And I was like, no, it's not. And then I kind of just came to the realization that nothing is going to be comfortable at this stage in pregnancy. There's nothing that really suits my back. So we finally just agreed on one and said, okay, this is it. I'm sure it will be comfortable when we get home. But again, the glider that we went with came highly recommended by a few mom friends. So just make sure you're doing your research. When you are reviewing which glider to get, I highly recommend you get a power glider. And by that, I mean that there's buttons to move you up and down. I think when you manually have to do it, I'm talking like old school, like our parents had those lazy boys where you have to pull it out and it kind of pops you up. That's not comfortable when you're recovering. And that's also not comfortable to hold two little babies and feel like you're getting flung out of a chair. So just make sure there's a power option so that you can plug it in and you just have the ease of pushing a button when you want to go back or when you want to come back up. The next category on our registry is sleeping, which I don't know, babies and sleeping kind of sounds like an oxymoron right now, but here's to hoping we all get some sleep, right? First thing on our registry was blackout curtains. We went with Otter Space blackout curtains. If you've not heard of Otter Space, they're a wonderful company that offers a total blackout curtain kit. First of all, they use non-toxic materials, which if you've done any research on blackout curtains, most of the curtains out there are just packed with toxic materials. So that was super important to me. The other thing that I absolutely love about Otter Space blackout curtains is that they're portable. So you can bring them with you when you travel, which, game changer. We made the mistake the first time we ever went on vacation with our son of thinking like, oh, why would he need a blackout curtain? We're on vacation. That's only when we're home. Nope. Total opposite. He was like, well, California is cool, but this sunshine means I don't nap anymore and I don't need to go to bed till the sun goes down. So definitely, I recommend if you're planning on using blackout curtains, go with Otter Space. Use them. They're portable. They're non-toxic. They offer 100% total darkness. They're also super easy to install, which, you know what? I'm happy to have something that's easy to install and give that gift to my husband because the poor guy, he's been working overtime, putting cribs together, bassinets together, strollers together, car seat bases. Okay, now get the mirrors up. He's been working so hard to get everything ready for these babies that, you know what, babe, you're welcome for me getting blackout curtains that are super easy to install. The next item we decided not to register for, but a couple twin moms did recommend it, so I wanted to include it, is a twin bassinet. We are planning on co-sleeping with our babies. We have a California king bed. We have plenty of room. I know some moms, when I say that, are like, what? No, you can't do that. You'll be so tired. You'll roll over on your baby. I can tell you that we co-slept with Jude for roughly 4 months. Not once did either of us ever come close to sleeping or rolling over onto our baby. First of all, the second you get pregnant, you become a mom. You're like a mama bear. You just protect that womb so much. The second they come out, you're like, no, this is my entire life now. I would do anything for this baby. So we instead opted for Snuggle Me Organic loungers. If you're not familiar with the brand Snuggle Me Organic, it's one of our favorites. We've bought loungers from them. We've bought actually a breastfeeding pillow from them for our singleton pregnancy. Breastfeeding shawls is a great brand, but that is our plan, friends. We have two little loungers we're going to use for the babes. We're going to co-sleep with them. So we're skipping out on the twin bassinet. We do have a single bassinet if we decide to sleep with one baby and put the other baby in the bassinet, but total preference up to you. If you are like a super deep sleeper, or if you or your partner is maybe on medication for sleeping, then maybe co-sleeping is not the best option for you. Definitely check out twin bassinet options. My last suggestion under the sleeping category is swaddles. If you don't know what a swaddle is, it's kind of like a cozy wrap me up blanket. There's usually Velcro that attaches to the side. And the idea is that it replicates the womb. You kind of wrap your baby's hands. For us, we did Jude's arms across his chest. We swaddled him up, and then he was just cozy as could be in there. We made the mistake of registering for, I don't know, about 15 swaddles with our first pregnancy, only to find out our son only liked to be swaddled for about 1 month. So that was a huge waste of money to have all of those swaddles. Register for 2 or 3, friends. See if your babies love the swaddles. If they do, you can always go get more. If they don't, then you haven't wasted your money on a bunch of swaddles. When they're in these little swaddles, it kind of looks like they're in little straight jackets. And I remember when my niece came over for the first time and spent the night when we had Jude, she was like, Aunt Abby, what is that? I was like, oh, honey, it's a swaddle. We're going to wrap his, his legs and his arms, and he'll be so cozy. She said, oh my gosh, I'm never doing that to my baby. That looks so mean. And I mean, she's so sweet. She has a huge heart of gold. I just had to laugh because looking back at pictures of him in his little swaddle, it does kind of look like we have him in a little straitjacket laying in his little bassinet. But most babies love a swaddle. So like I said, start with a few, go from there. You can always get more. Next category is travel. And no, I don't mean travel as in like registering for a couple tickets to Portugal, because wow, does that sound nice right now. Travel for us just meant anytime we're kind of leaving the house with the babies. So top importance to us in this category was, of course, our infant car seats. And then also making sure we had extra bases. If you and your partner have 2 cars and you know that you're going to be moving those car seats from car to car, there is an option to use the seatbelt, strap it across, and safely get the baby fastened in the car seat with the seatbelt. I'm going to tell you right now, whoever does not have the whoever does not have the base is going to get so annoyed using that seatbelt function. Register for the extra bases. Whatever car seat you end up with, there's so many great options. Again, I recommend you go to Stork Exchange. They have great options for car seats right now. You can always then go to Amazon and buy some extra bases. That way you have them in 2 cars. It's so much easier to click that car seat into a base than to even mess with that seatbelt. Not to mention, it's also safer. Make sure you're also, friends, getting sunshades. If you live in a sunny state, you're going to want those for your windows. Even in the winter, it gets hot in the back seat for those babies with the sun blazing through. And then make sure you also have mirrors that you can attach to the headrest on the back of the seat where your babies are. It's so nice for peace of mind when you're driving and you can look in your rearview mirror and see your little nugget smiling or sipping their bottle or whatever it may be. It's a lot easier than cranking your neck and turning all the way around, especially to see 2 of them. They're not that expensive. Register for 2, register for 4 if you have 2 cars. We debated putting this next one under travel or putting it under baby gear. We went with baby gear, but make sure you're registering for a good stroller. We are very fortunate that we already have one from our first pregnancy. We have the Uppa Baby Vista 2. You're going to want a good stroller, friends. You're going to want to be able to get out of the house. You're going to want something that is secure, that works for you. Our plan, rather than buying a stroller right now that is meant for twins, The Uppa Baby Vista 2 has the option to have a forward-facing seat for our 1-year-old. And then the bassinet, we're planning on putting both little boys in there for the time being. There's no way anyways that mama can deal with pushing one double stroller for the twins while my son is on some form of a trike or something like that. I just want to deal with one stroller for a little bit. So that's our plan. If you do not have a stroller yet, definitely look at double stroller options. I think Zoe Baby has a great twin stroller that comes highly recommended. We're just not investing in it right now because we're going to see if we can just make this other stroller that we have work for the time being. Kind of a funny item under baby gear is the Windy Gas Passer. If you've not heard of a Windy Gas Passer, go look on my registry or just go ahead and Google what it is. We were introduced to these when our son was about 6 weeks old and he just could not get a fart out or he could not get a poop out. And he would be so mad and so fussy and so angry. So a friend sent these to our house and was just like, trust me, this is a game changer. You put a little Aquaphor at the tip of this kind of gas passer. You pop it in his little bum and it immediately pulls all the gas out of their belly. Yes, sometimes it comes with like explosive diarrhea very quickly. So you're going to want to make sure you have a diaper underneath that little bum. But game changer, friends. We went through quite a bit of these when our son just couldn't pass the gas or was constipated. And then I'm not kidding. It was like flipping a switch. Right after, he'd be smiling and giggling again and just his happy little self. So definitely invest in some Windy Gas Passers. Such a sexy name, right? And then the last thing under baby gear that I'm pretty sure every mom registers for, but I'm confident that only 50% of moms use them, are those milestone markers. So they're usually like those little blocks that say month 1, newborn, month 2, month 3, or it's like a little map that's a calendar and you lay your baby under the month 1 when they turn 1. We registered for these in our first pregnancy. I'm not going to lie, they're still in the box downstairs in the dresser. I'm just not that kind of mom. I'm sorry, I just can't get my shit together to remember every month on a certain day to place my baby near these little blocks. It's not who I am. They're cheap. It's at least worth registering for if you think you're going to want to do that, even just to have the memories for yourself. When I see other moms that have done it and they have like these cute little pictures in their nursery of all their babies each month as they're growing, I'm like, that's so sweet. I want to be that mom, but it ain't me. If it's not you, skip it too. If you're like, I don't know, pick one. They're about $10. They're good to have on hand. If it's like month 6 and you totally forgot to do it, I'm right there with you. One of my most favorite categories on this registry is postpartum. What is mama going to need that's going to make her life a little bit easier at the hospital or when she comes home? This category to me is super important. I could honestly spend quite a bit of time talking about all the items I put under this category, but I just want to highlight a few. The first one, so sexy to talk about, is a toilet stool, a foldable toilet stool. When you come home, you're going to want anything and everything that's going to make going number 2 as easy and as pain-free as possible. My proctologist was like, my number 1 suggestion for women in postpartum is to get the foldable toilet stool. I listened to my proctologist in my first pregnancy and she was right. Yep, still use it to this day. So definitely recommend you register for one of those. And while we're just talking about back end business, I recommend that you register for some finger cots. If you don't know what a finger cot is, also Google that. It's essentially a little condom that goes over your finger, your index finger, let's say, that you can put creams on in case you need to put creams on your back end. Fissures are not uncommon with birth. We've talked about fissures in some of the other episodes. If you end up needing cream for a fissure, or if you end up having a little bit of damage on your backside, these little finger cots are great because boom, you just pop it off and it goes in the trash can. You also just, even if you don't have a traumatic back end birth experience, You might just want these to put a little bit of Aquaphor to put on the backside to just make things a little bit easier when you go to the bathroom for the first few weeks. Recommend getting both of those. If you're like, I am not registering for that, that is way too embarrassing. I get it. Just buy them yourself. There's no shame here at this point. I just let people know, yeah, fissures, hemorrhoids, it's been a whole experience. So I registered for both of those items. But if you want to keep it more private, I support you, mama. Something fun to add under this category that people have loved gifting us is memberships to various places that we can go with the babies. So, for example, we registered for the museum, we registered for the zoo. Our favorite place that we registered for that we already got was a membership to the Botanic Gardens. We're obviously having our babies in the fall. The weather's going to be a little bit cooler, but still plenty of time to be outside. We lived at the Botanic Gardens, I'd say, about 6 weeks after Jude was born. We went there 1 to 2, sometimes even 3 times a week. We'd meet people there when they got off work. It kind of just became our little oasis where it was easy to meet people. We could invite them to come on our membership. It got mama out of the house. It was outdoors, so I didn't have to worry about germs or COVID or the flu or anything like that. And it was also just beautiful. So I really recommend, if you have a couple places that you love to go, maybe it's the Science Museum, the aquarium, maybe it's also a garden, register for those. Add the membership that you want. I think you'll be surprised at how many people love gifting you this membership, and then they love seeing pictures when you're at these places. We often will send people a picture and be like, thanks again for the zoo membership. Here we are checking out the lions. And I think it just brings a lot of joy to people to know that they are a part of something that's getting you out of the house, that's bringing you smiles, that's bringing you laughs, because that is just as important as all the baby gear we're registering for, all the items, all the strollers, all that may be, is also your peace of mind, mama. Speaking of memberships, you can also register for gift cards. I think it's really common these days for people to register for Uber Eats gift cards. That way they don't have to worry about meals when they come home. We were so fortunate to have so many people send us gift cards to either Uber Eats or different restaurants, maybe their favorite restaurant in the neighborhood. Great thing to register for. People can choose their own amount, and you'll really appreciate it those nights you're just like, I'm so hungry. I've been breastfeeding these babies. What are we doing for dinner? Oh, perfect. We have a gift card. All right, last category on the registry, health and safety. There's quite a few items that you can go through on my registry in terms of a thermometer, baby headphones, humidifier, blah, blah, blah. I just want to point out one specific thing in this category that I think is really important. Please, friends, make sure that you have a rectal thermometer. Those are truthfully the most accurate thermometers when you bring these little babies home. There are going to be times you're going to be like, I feel like the baby's hot. What is his or her temperature? We made the mistake of using a forehead thermometer with our first son, and we had a huge scare. It said his fever was 102.5. I called my husband. I was like, you need to rush home. We need to get to the emergency room. I called the doctor. The doctor was like, well, have you tried a rectal thermometer? So my husband ran and grabbed one. And sure enough, he didn't have a fever. So I just can't stress the importance of making sure you have a rectal thermometer for your own peace of mind. You don't have to buy a super expensive one. Just make sure you invest in one that is reliable. That way you can know, okay, is this actually something where we need to head into the doctor's? Or is this nothing to be worried about? All right, shifting gears a little bit, friends. I want to talk about the sweet sprinkle that I had. I had an entire episode on this podcast that talked about baby showers, and I was really on the fence if I was going to do one. I kind of touched base in that episode that I felt a little bit guilty asking people to come celebrate me again, buy me gifts again, when truthfully we did this like almost a year ago to the day. But my dear sweet friend Lindsay pretty much said to me, Abigail, ask for help, get over it, let me host a little sprinkle for you. You have so many things that you need, and truthfully people just want to celebrate you. And I said, you know what, you're right. And that's what we did. We did a friends only sprinkle. Super, super small. I think there was only 10 of us there. My first baby shower, total opposite. There was like 40 people there. I felt like I really just didn't even get time to sit down and chat with anyone because I was so busy saying hi to everyone. So I wanted the exact opposite for my sprinkle. And bless you, Lindsay, if you're listening to this, because that's exactly what you provided me, was an opportunity to just sit on the couch. We ate some delicious, rich chocolate cake. She made a beautiful charcuterie board. She made a beautiful balloon wall. Oh, I get teary-eyed just thinking about it. And I just felt so loved. She didn't ask me to do one single thing, which was so sweet of her. The only thing I did was send her names and email addresses for people that I wanted to invite. And it was just what the doctor ordered. So friends, if you're on the fence still about the baby shower or the sprinkle, go for it. Do it. Make sure that you are just spoiled and filled with love and you don't have to do anything the day of. You don't have to do any prep. I truthfully just walked in the door and Lindsay had done everything. She also wrote the cutest little invite asking people to please bring diapers. We didn't have a single diaper prior to my sprinkle last week. I think we were just like, oh yeah, we'll get them. We'll get them soon. We'll get them soon. And thanks to Lindsay and my sweet friends that showed up, we now have enough diapers to get us through at least the first month, which is much, much appreciated. We had such a nice time sharing stories. We played a little let's guess when the babies are going to come game. And then, of course, we discussed names because my husband and I, we still don't have names for these little babies. We go back and forth all the time. Like 1 week, we're really settled on a name. We love it. And then 2 days later, we're both like, oh, no, that cannot be the name. So it was fun to sit around with my girlfriends and just talk about different names that they love and different ideas. And, you know, I think it's so important to find time right now to connect with your friends, to connect with your girlfriends. I didn't even realize the void that I was feeling. Oh, I'm going to get emotional. In my life with missing my girlfriends until Lindsay threw that sprinkle for me. There just hasn't been time lately to go have dinner with friends, to go to a movie with friends, to get pedicures, to chat. There just hasn't been time. It's like everyone's so busy raising their own kids. I'm so busy, I feel like, working full time, racing to doctor's appointments, taking care of my son Jude, that really for a few hours I didn't have my phone out. I just got to sit and chit chat with my friends and talk about some of my fears around birth, the excitement that I have, and my soul needed that so deeply. So again, last time I'm going to push it. If you don't want to do something big, do something small, even if it's just a little tea with friends or a dinner. Ours was super simple. She had some really cute little mocktail options, some wine for anyone that wanted it. And then really it was just like cheese, crackers, meats, and rich chocolate cake, which is exactly what Mama wanted. All right, Mamas, that's a wrap on this episode. Like I said, I'm going to be linking my registry items. If you have any questions about any of the items on my registry, let me know. You're welcome to honestly just copy it. Really, you can just duplicate it if you want. I copied quite a few other mamas and their suggestions too. That's what we're all here for, right? We got to help each other. We got to support each other. I honestly went through every purchase I made on Amazon the last year of my son's life and added some of those items as well. You know, those last minute freak out items that you realize you need at like 10 o'clock at night. And you're like, oh my gosh, okay, I need to add this to my cart and I need it here in the morning. So I really feel that I've done quite a thorough job here on this registry. But if you also have suggestions, send them my way. I'd love to include them and help out other mamas out there that are like, what do I really need for this journey? Sending you all lots of love. I hope you get a good back rub tonight. I hope you get to put your feet up, maybe treat yourself to a pedicure in the next few days. And we're just cruising, mamas. Trimester 3, we're just cruising through it.